In this video, you will learn the deeper meaning of the planet Uranus in Kabbalistic astrology and mythology. You will learn about the spiritual principle on the Tree of Life, in which the astrological meaning of Uranus is based on. And you'll also learn why Uranus is also called the Great Transformer. Experience the knowledge and wisdom of the mysteries and astrology in a serious and lively form presented in this instructional video on the principles used in Kabbalistic astrology. Brotherhood of the Eternal Light, teaching the Western mysteries. Uranus. Uranus, god of heaven and sky, sparks transformation to free us and lift us high. Basic meaning. Symbolism. The sign of Uranus is not a classical alchemical sign. However, it is composed of the circle with a dot in the center and the arrow. It resembles in its form the symbol of Mars and that of the Sun. In addition, there is another sign that is also used, which is the stylized letter H, alludes to the astronomer William Herschel, who discovered Uranus in 1781. Spiritual principle. The planet Uranus is assigned to Dot on the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. Dot underlies the astrological meaning of Uranus. Dot is sometimes referred to as the invisible Sephirah and represents an important spiritual principle on the Tree of Life. Dot represents the bridge across the abyss, so to speak, and the principle of transformative insight. Dot symbolizes change and transformation from one plane to another. Dot also represents the mediating principle in the transition from one state to another. In the horoscope, therefore, Uranus represents our ability to transform. Since Uranus, as one of the outer planets, is a so-called slow mover, being in a sign for many years, its effect and influence applies accordingly for quite long periods of time to all persons born under this period. Moreover, it particularly represents a time quality, characterized by the sign it passes through. It is therefore sometimes called the social planet. Uranus is sometimes referred to as the Great Transformer. A striking example of this is the political social turn that occurred during the French Revolution, which began a few years after the discovery of Uranus. You can learn more about mundane and horary astrology in our astrology seminars. Through its aspects and house placement, Uranus naturally plays a role in the interpretation of individual birth charts. The effect of the Great Transformer can thus apply to the individual as well as to social processes. Uranus in mythology. Greek mythology. Uranus is the god of the sky. This is also the meaning of his name. It is the Latinized form of Uranus, which comes from the Greek language. Uranus is the first of the rulers of the world in the Greek mythology and the form of gods. He was the first son that Gaia gave birth to out of herself. Uranus begat numerous descendants with his mother Gaia in the form of different elemental forces. Essentially, these were the Cyclops, giants, and Titans. However, he hated his children, and therefore hid them in Tartarus, a hideous place deep in the earth. Gaia was enraged by this and made a sickle out of adamant, a metal that was also hidden deep in the earth, and had the property of being able to hurt even gods. She instigated her children to emasculate Uranus, which was finally done by Kronos, or Saturn, who ruled the world instead of Uranus. Mesopotamia, Sumer, Babylon. The equivalent of Uranus in the Mesopotamian pantheon is An, or Anum, or Anu. An is the god of heaven and represents the supreme deity. Egyptian mythology. Shu is the equivalent of Uranus in Egyptian mythology and the Egyptian god of air. Shu placed himself between Geb, the earth, and Nuit, the sky, to separate them. This corresponds to Dot, the spiritual principle underlying Uranus. Dot represents the abyss that separates the higher sphere from the lower. As the god of air, he also corresponds to the breath of life and light. Roman mythology. Caelus is the god of the sky in the Roman pantheon. He corresponds to Uranus in his mythological function. Astrological meaning. Effect. The position of Uranus in the horoscope shows in what way and in what area of life a person receives the impulse for further development and strives for independent change. Virtues. The virtues of Uranus are impersonal justice, confidence in the future, freedom, scientific thinking, and spontaneity. Vices. The vices of Uranus are callousness, apathy, inhumanity, isolation, uncontrolled impulsiveness, and chaos. Movement and speed. Uranus takes about 84.5 years to make a complete orbit through the zodiac. It therefore takes about 7 years to pass through one of the signs of the zodiac. Uranus is retrograde for about 5 months each year. Domicile and exile. Domicile. Uranus rules in Aquarius and is in exile in Leo. The effect of Uranus is consistent with the nature of the sign Aquarius. In the sign of Aquarius, where the superpersonal ideas of freedom and human rights are at stake, Uranus's impulse to evolve and strive for free change falls on fertile ground. Exile. In the sign of Leo, where it is a matter of the value and presentation of one's own personality, the power of transformation and further development is inhibited by clinging to the existing self-expression. Exaltation and fall. Exaltation. Uranus is exalted in Scorpio and is in fall in Taurus. The effects of Uranus is in harmony with the nature of the sign Scorpio. The impulse for transformation and change can adequately unfold through the transformative nature of Scorpio. Fall. In Taurus, on the other hand, the nature of Uranus does not express itself well. Where the themes of security and stability are concerned, the power of transformation seems threatening and out of place. Let's summarize the meanings of Uranus. Symbols. Spiritual principle. Dot, transformative insight. Effect. Uranus shows how and in what area we receive the impetus to evolve and strive for independent change. The virtues are impersonal justice, confidence in the future, freedom, scientific thinking, and spontaneity. The vices are callousness, apathy, inhumanity, isolation, uncontrolled impulsiveness, and chaos. Domicile, Aquarius. Exaltation, Scorpio. Exile, Leo. Fall, Taurus. Uranus needs about 84.5 years for one orbit through the zodiac. Now you may be curious to know where Uranus is in your horoscope. If so, then visit our astrology seminars and learn more about it. You can find the links in the video description. But just a moment, we would be happy if you wrote to us in the comments. What did you like most about our video, and which astrological topics would be interesting for you? Or tell us where Uranus is in your horoscope and how you experience its effects. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate your support. See you soon in our next video.